Hi, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new around here, hello, welcome. I'm Lucy and I am a mum to 3, pregnant with number 4, and I share all sorts of day in the life, weekend vlogs, chatty videos, all sorts. So I would love to have you along, so do subscribe if that is your kind of thing. Today I'm going to be having a bit of a chat basically about motherhood and becoming a mum and support and how lonely being a mum sometimes can be. So I'm going to start by saying I feel like I need to start with this disclaimer. I love being a mum. If there was one ambition I had through my entire childhood, it was to be a mum. I could not be happier than I am as a mum. But that doesn't mean it isn't tough sometimes. It is hard, and there are some days when honestly I'm like, I could rehome you kids so quick right now. Yeah, it's not always the easiest ride, and for me, when I became a mum, none of my friendship group had children. Most of them were only kind of just thinking about moving in with their other halves, and I was married and we had a baby, and I'm very lucky in that I have the support of my mum very nearby, and that was invaluable. But I didn't really have that many mum friends, and most of the mum friends that I made after my little boy was born. And it is difficult, I think, sometimes to find people, to find your tribe. Like, I know I've met some lovely mums, but it's really hard, I think, because there are so many different ways you can be a mum. It's really hard to find mums that mum like you mum. And as much as being a parent really unites everybody, and a lot of those trials and tribulations are the same, there are so many different ways you can do it. So it's nice to find your tribe and people that just get it and get you and get why you're doing things the way you're doing. And that is definitely a lot harder to find. There's a lot of talk, isn't there, about the fact that it takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to create a mum. I think I'm somebody who is quite naturally maternal and took to motherhood very naturally, but even then there's still times when I question everything. That's just the nature of the beast, because you want to do such a good job of it that you're naturally going to question every decision that you make. And sometimes you really need that village to back you up and just tell you you're doing a good job. I actually ended up finding my village online. The online community has been my motherhood village. Like I said, my mum is very close, my nan is very close. I have those kind of maternal figures very nearby that can help me out, but things change. Regulations change, recommendations change. The way that I am doing things with my children is a world away from the way that my mum did some of the things with me when I was a baby. So as much as she can support me emotionally, sometimes with that whole physical how you're doing it thing, it's different. And it's nice to have people the same sort of age and the same sort of interests doing things the same way as you. I ended up finding my village mainly through my blog, through sort of Twitter and Instagram and that whole online world, and much more recently the village that is Channel Mum. Yes, I'm going to bang on a little bit about Channel Mum quickly, because we are creating that mum village so that you know you're not alone, and somewhere in that village you will find somebody doing it like you're doing it, and they will hold your hand through the wonder of the internet while you go through this kind of crazy rocky roller coaster of a journey. One of the things that I really want to flag up that I have found really useful recently is that Channel Mum actually have some online forums, which here's the link for here. I'll leave it here for a minute so you can see. Basically, there are chat rooms there where you can go in and talk about anything. My favourite one is the Mum SOS one, which covers every single base. That covers, how do I get these stains out of this? What are people's approaches on co-sleeping? What do I do about my kid that doesn't want to go to school? It covers like all the parenting trials and tribulations you could possibly come up with. And it's really great because if you want to go in there and you want to post anonymously and get some support, but you obviously don't want people to know it's you, then you can do that. And there is a psychologist who is in there is a health visitor who is in there, and there are trained kind of forum people kind of making sure that you're being supported and looked after and respected. And it's a really safe place for mums. Anyone who's been following my pregnancy updates will know that I have mentioned a few times about the fact that I have been feeling very anxious this pregnancy, not with any particular grounding in the real world, but I just feel very anxious and like I've tempted fate, and I'm just a little bit more worried, I guess. I have definitely found it invaluable to talk about that. I think sometimes, you know, what's that old saying? A problem shared is a problem halved. Sometimes just saying out loud how you're feeling takes the sting out of it a little bit. And I definitely find that that is the case, and I definitely find that those chat rooms on the Channel 1 website are really useful. And then there is also a Facebook group, which is a closed Facebook group, which has the same psychologists, health visitors, moderators, making sure that everything is respectful. I just find those really useful, because sometimes when you're at home and it's 9 o'clock at night and you're suddenly really worried about something, know that there is always going to be that little village of people there that will support you and have your back and tell you it's okay, or tell you, no, maybe you should try ringing 111, or maybe you should try this, or that doesn't sound okay, you need to flag that up with somebody. It's also great, even if you're not particularly having any trouble, to go and share your wealth of knowledge. I kind of feel like I'm making it up as I go along and winging it a lot of the time, but I have garnered quite a lot of knowledge from my, what am I, like nearly 7 years of motherhood now. And there are people that come on and they ask questions, and to me the questions seem so obvious because they're a first time mum, and you realise they need support, they need someone who's a bit of an old timer to say it's okay, it's fine, don't worry about it. I've gone off on a real rambly, crazy tangent, but I just kind of wanted to talk about the fact that it's really hard to mother in a bubble, to parent in a bubble. If it's just you, it's very lonely. Even if it's just you and your other half, it's still very lonely, because you're just stuck in this one little world that revolves around your kid or kids. And I think it's really important that we have that village of shared experiences, and that we see how other people are doing it differently to us, and it helps us reflect on what we're doing. So basically I'm saying, if you are feeling like you're maybe a bit alone as a mum, or that you haven't got that village, or that you just want to broaden your village a little bit more, I would just definitely go and check out what Channel 1 is all about. They've got a website full of fantastic content, fantastic forums and chat rooms, they've got a Facebook group, there is all sorts going on all the time. And for me, it's definitely held my hand through some trickier times, and I know it has for other people too, and I know it can for you if you're feeling a little bit on your own. So we have a motto at Channel 1, which is Yana, which is you are not alone, you don't need to be. So go and check out what Channel 1 is all about, and I will see you over there. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.